Hello everyone, hope you all had a good Christmas. It is now the 29th of December, so we're not too far away from New Year's Eve and New Year. So yeah, I've had the Sony A7R4 just over a month. I thought I was out just for the Christmas Eve on a last minute shoot just for a present for a family member, so I decided it was an awful day as usual. Torrential rain, no sunlight whatsoever, and it was to shoot in a barn, to shoot some cows and just like around a farm, which was good. So I decided to use auto ISO for once. I've never used it before. Also, because I only have the 24-70, just wanted a bit more reach, so I actually used the Super 35 mode just to see what it was capable of. So after this, I'll show you a few images on what way I wet it and what the noise was, what was like in the images. Because the ISO, even outside shots, were shot at ISO 12,800, which is crazy. I've never used that ISO in my life, so it was a strange experience because it felt like you just stuck in auto and you're just shooting away, you know. But the Super 35 mode was really good because it did give you that extra reach. So it was like obviously topped out at 70 mil, so you're probably, I don't know, maybe over 100 mil. I was able to get into the cows, and because they were in adjacent field as well, it was good. I didn't obviously go into the field because I didn't want them charging at me. To be fair, I probably scared the life out of them. If you've seen somebody standing pointing this camera at them, you know, obviously they probably thought this boy's going, what's he at, he's going to shoot me or something. So yeah, the images were like, they were only going to be 6x4 prints, so we knew, they should be fine. But yeah, I was quite surprised. They were very usable. Even with the editing, like yeah, there was noise, but I actually thought it added to some of the images. Obviously I'll go through the editing process in the video in a moment, but yeah, I would definitely use it again. Definitely, I don't think I would use it at the high ISO, mind. I'm not a big fan of high or auto ISO, so I don't think I'll be using that regularly or at all. But for something like that, it was good to test, and we're fine. But obviously if you were doing larger prints, chances are you would lose a lot of that quality, and obviously you'd possibly see the noise more. But I mean, the images were fine. They weren't super sharp. Like, I mean, it was shot at ISO 2800. Generally, about shutter speed was between 100 and 200, as far as I remember, and it was f2.8, because I knew I needed as much light as possible because it was pretty dark. And then outside there wasn't much light either, so yeah, but I was still surprised that the outside images were still shot at 12,800. But yeah, like, they're not underexposed, so you can't really see the noise as much. If it was underexposed and you were pushing those shadows and pushing the exposure up, obviously you're going to introduce more noise, but it was fine. It didn't really have to do much editing to it, thankfully. But I was seeing the prints, the 6x4s, they were 100%. Like, they were just going into like a multi-aperture frame, so it was fine. And said a family member, they were over the moon with it, so it was a good test. Definitely used the Super 35, but not auto ISO. I mean, yeah, it's not for me. I like having as low ISO as I can. Yeah, obviously if you're in somewhere like, I don't know, like a concert or a wedding or something, possibly, yeah, you could stick it in auto ISO and you'd be fine. But I like the full control over ISO, so I know exactly what I'm shooting or what I have to go up to. So yeah, we'll have a look at the images and look at the editing process. But yeah, very happy with it. Obviously you have 60 megapixels to mess about with. So with the Super 35, you're cropping in. So you're going in, I think it was, you're maybe getting a 24 megapixel image. But again, that's more than enough for a 6x4. I think it was 100%. So yeah, it was a good experiment. Again, can't say a bad thing about the Sony A7R4. at the moment. It's been perfect. And also, quick update on the Canon situation. So this is what it's filming on at the moment. So finally got it fixed. I went into the good people at Wax in Belfast. I brought it in there, and the lady serving me, she brought out the rental adapter for the AF to RF mount. I went through a few different lenses. I tried the RF lenses on my Canon R body and they worked fine. So at least that ruled out, there was no issue with my camera as such. It was the adapter, which was strange because I did buy another adapter, brand new, and it didn't work at all. But again, the guys at Wax said it might have been a firmware issue, but once I put theirs on, it was fine. So yeah, I ordered another adapter, and this one thankfully works 100%. So we're now up and running again with the Canon, and hopefully we can test the gimbal a bit more. So yeah, at least we're back up to 2 cameras now. But yeah, it was good to use the Sony filming as well, see what it was capable of. The 4K footage is really smooth, but I would like it just primarily for stills, and also I can't get it balanced on the gimbal yet. I've heard reports saying you can get it balanced on the Weeble S gimbal, but I haven't had any success at the moment. So also, Christmas time, Santa brought me some cash, thankfully. So we're looking at buying a drone, which I've wanted for about 2 or 3 years, but I just never thought I would get to the stage where I could get the cash together to buy one, or not use the cash to get another lens, which, you know, is what it is. But yeah, we're looking at the DJI Mini 3 Pro. That makes sense, I think that's it. So yeah, I'm looking for, I've seen a few, but I'm kind of waiting for the January sales to see if there's any price movement, but you know, I don't think there will be. But yeah, hopefully get that in the next couple of months, and it'll be a whole different ball again. And if there's any insurance you can get with that, I need to get it, because chances are the first flight I'll throw it into the side of a mountain or into a lake or something. So yeah, I'll be very nervous using that. But and also I've looked at said about the telephoto lens, so we looked at the Sigma 100 to 400. It's a Sigma Contemporary lens range, which it looks quite good. I've never had 100 to 400, I've always had a 70 to 200, 2.8, but it was the Canon, it was a big heavy beast of a thing, and I didn't use it that much really. So yeah, I would like to try the 100 to 400, because like 400 mil would be class for going up the mountains, and just picking out subjects, you know, even anywhere like trees, or I suppose portraiture as well. Not that we're doing a whole lot of that, I wouldn't have thought anyway. But yeah, so that's the plans for next few months. Hopefully get a good price on it and see what we can do. But yeah, we'll jump into the editing and have a look at these files. Okay, so we can see here it's ISO 12800, 63mm, f2.8, 1/200 of a second. So this is at 12%. So yeah, we'll have a look. We'll blow it up again. Well, right off the bat, it looks fine. I mean, there's a bit of noise there, but it's grand. So I've just imported these and added the lens correction. So first off, I'll take the noise down a bit so you can see there. It's, you know, it's noisy, but then you expect that at 12,800. So we'll take it down maybe about, that's maybe a bit much. 13, that should be fine. It doesn't look like it's fine. It's clean enough for that. Like, I mean, what I'll usually do then is try out a few presets just to see exactly what type of look I'm going for. So usually with landscape images, I'll go try these presets here just to see what suits really. So ain't gonna work. It's a bit too warm. It's not too bad. Yeah, some of them I don't know. So this is again trying to find what you want to do with the image. So I'll have a look at the Lightroom masks are really good. Generally, if you go to subject, it'll pick it out straight away, providing you've focused on the right area. So let me see what it pulls up here. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it was focused on the cow in the middle, so what we're going to do is just remove the mask that's on the other cow, because our focus wants to be the cow in the middle, so everything else could just be in the background. Take it down. And the masks are very good actually. Like before, like I remember using Photoshop and Lightroom before these, and it was a nightmare in Photoshop trying to do anything. But it looks so much quicker and simpler using these. Okay. It's nearly dead. Take this off. Okay, so what we want to do, I think I just want to up the clarity a tiny bit. But it would do contrast. The whites a little bit. Again, I don't want to push this too far because it is, it's grainy as it is, so I don't want to completely ruin the image. Shadows, you can have a look again. Take it up a little bit. I think that's maybe too far, that would do. Exposure seems fine. And again, what you can do is on that mask you've created, you can duplicate and invert, and you can just go, drop the exposure down a wee bit, and it just makes your subject pop a little bit more. So yeah, it looks fine. Again, we'll try it on a preset, and see what we think. It's not too bad. So I don't mind that, it's a bit red, but obviously you can tailor it to whatever way you want it. But and also what these presets are all, apart from these landscape presets that I've created, all the other ones are just standard Lightroom presets. Again, it just gives, to me, it just gives you a quick idea of what way you want to finish your image. Let me see. And you do get familiar with ones that you use more often. So let me see. Cinematics I've used quite a bit. Obviously they can be quite strong and not everyone's taste, but you can dial them back. See, that's not too bad. It's a wee bit too strong, but again, you can dial it back and just make it a bit more subtle. Yeah, the 5's not too bad. That's not too bad. A bit more of an orange effect, really the old orange and teal. So yeah, I might go for 8. It seems about right. Now, what I tend to do, just to try and get a sort of even edit across all images, I'll copy the edit on this image. Again, you can copy the mask, and it's not always going to be accurate depending on what the image is. So we'll copy, and we'll go to, let me see, go to this image here. I can paste it and see exactly what way it affects this image. Again, the masking that's going to try and apply, you can change it, you can take it off, you can move it. So let's see what it's done there. So that's the inverted. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you can deselect some of it. So right here, again, I hasn't done a bad job. Like, use the brush, and that'll just paint in the original or the affected area. Or what we're going to do is just delete them entirely. So delete all masks, because it looks fine. I mean, there's nothing else there really, like, so it's just that one subject, but I think that works fine. Again, you can check on your history, so paste settings, subject, yeah, that's fine. And go to before and after. So yeah, it definitely looks better. And again, the grain isn't that, like, the noise isn't that apparent, and I think it actually adds to it in some cases. It's a bit more of a film effect. So like, again, that's what, 1,200 or 12,800, 70mm, 2.8, 1/200 of a second. Again, that's using the Super 35, so it's probably a bit more than 70, but yeah, I mean, it's clean enough, like, for a 6x4, what they were printed out at. Again, I would probably put it into Photoshop, sharpen it a tiny bit, and then that would do it. Let me see what else we can do. Choose this wee rascal here. Again, we can paste the settings. And there we go. So again, it's grand. Let me check the mask again. So yeah, the mask is fine. I mean, it's not great, but like, you're not doing a mad edit. You're only, I think we just upped the white contrast and clarity a tiny bit, so, and then invert. So we'll just do that manually. So we will remove all masks, and then we'll go to subject. Again, that's near 100%. Again, you can fine tune it, but for the sake of this, we'll just add our mask here. So clarity of about 8, whites up a little bit, contrast, and yeah, that's pretty much shadows. That's fine. Again, I don't want to push it too far, but that looks fine. Again, you can see the noise in the background. Like, obviously, if I go to 100%, you're going to see, boom, there's a lot of noise there, but it's 100%. You know, you're going to get that, but again, it's still sharp enough at that high ISO 2.8 as well. So I'm happy enough with that. I mean, again, I've seen the prints and they were fine. You couldn't see any noise at all. I'll have a look at the outside images. So this one, it's actually with the high, so I should have actually looked at the shutter speed. I could have taken it down for these one, and then that would have brought the ISO down, but it's good to see the high ISO outside as well. Now it does look that bit more grainy because you can see it's actually frozen the rain droplets, so it looks a bit more muddy, and like there's artifacts in it, but it's actually the raindrops as well, so that's adding to the scene. The likes of these ones, I would probably go for black and white. Again, with the mask, I would go for the sky. And there we go. Generally, we'll take the highlights down just to reveal a bit of detail in the sky. That seems fine. Again, you can use dehaze, but again, the more you do, the more noise you're going to introduce into the image. Let me see. Again, we can go to mask and check for subject. Hopefully it'll pick the tractor out. As you can see, another beautiful day in Northern Ireland. Well, yeah, there we go. So it's picked the the shade up as well. So what you can do is, I don't think there's much colour in the shade actually. Yeah, because you can deselect, you know, using luminance, using colour as well. So it's sometimes easier to do, but it's quite similar. So if I take this quite black, I think I'll just leave it as it is. We'll see what it's like. So again, we'll probably up the clarity a little bit. Contrast. Shadows, you can have a look at. Tiny bit. Whites. I think, yeah, I'll up the whites a little bit because that might help once it's converted to black and white. Let me just check that the noise has been, yeah, so there's no noise reduction, so I need to add this. 11, 12, 13, it's not too bad. Okay. So again, usually have a look at the different black and white, the presets, to see what'll suit. I have one up here we use quite a bit. It's like a matte black and white. It's quite nice, especially if it's grainy or there's a lot of noise. It sort of masks it a bit. With the likes of these, the high contrast black and white, it's just a bit mad. It's fine, you know, for my taste anyway. So again, you get to know what black and whites work best. So there should be another preset here. That one seems to be about right for this. I mean, you can choose that, and then what I would probably do is maybe darken the scene down, but try and keep a bit of light on the tractor. So again, we can add a radial. So there's more light on the right hand side of this image, so you could experiment, just enhance, you know, the light a little bit. It was quite flat, to be honest, but see what we can do here. Exposure up a little bit. Shadows a little bit as well. Okay, I'll do that. And then grab another radial. Yeah, there's a couple of ways of doing this as well, but this is the one I usually use. So we can invert, and that means it'll create like a vignette, and it'll darken the outside of the images, or the outside edges, but leave the sort of the center. And again, you can move it around to your taste, but yeah, so it's a bit better than what it was. Again, we can go to a before and after. Yeah, so it looks a lot better. And yeah, that's a little bit sharpening in Photoshop, and that would be it really. Obviously, I crop it to 6:8 or whatever it is. So as you can see, Super 35 mode, it's very good, very useful. I definitely will be using it again. As for the auto ISO, not so sure, depending on the situation, but I would definitely need to check your shutter settings, because even whenever we move from inside to outside, the ISO still remained at 12,800, which was a bit mad for outside shooting. So yeah, definitely be using Super 35 again. Auto ISO, not so sure. Again, it's probably to do with me not checking my shutter speed, but auto ISO, I don't think it's for me. I've never used it before, and it was the first time, but no, I think definitely Super 35 I would use, especially with the 60 megapixels. You know, it gives you that room to to crop in as and when you need, but yeah, it'll do. I say we'll probably get out hopefully in the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully get the drone ordered, and it'll be a whole different adventure. But yeah, if anyone else has used Super 35 or Auto ISO in a better way or knows how to use it better than I have, let me know. And yeah, I might use it again, might not, Auto ISO, but you don't know until you try. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.